Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the March 11th Raw review, the Paul Bearer edition. I may actually put that into my title. Now, anyone who's seen my videos already know I've already said my feelings about Paul Bearer, what he contributed to the business and everything. So my own feelings will not really be much talked about or not talked about at all. But I cannot deny that this was done in the show, which I'm very happy about. I'm happy they did this. They did their tribute on SmackDown, and now they're doing their tribute on Raw. And this was a very Paul Bearer heavy show. So I will be getting to all the other things as much as I can first, before I talk about what happened with The Undertaker, CM Punk, and Kane. First thing I want to talk about, which is I don't understand. Two things I don't understand. One, the Ryback and Mark Henry now going to be a feud. They built it for the last couple of weeks, which is very good. Seeing a monster face in Ryback going against a monster heel in Mark Henry, who I still believe shouldn't be the one that backs down first. Because Mark Henry tends to back away from Ryback first. It should be the opposite way. It should be Ryback who should be backing off first. Or neither one of them backing off, neither one of them having to do. They should both back away at the same time. Seeing Mark Henry being the one to back away does not fill me with a lot of confidence they're going to structure this right. And they didn't. I was right about it. Because we saw two matches. Mark Henry versus Kofi Kingston. And Kofi was inducted into the halls of pain, baby. There was nothing left of him. He had a little bit of a flurry, but he got demolished. Then we got Ryback going against Heath Slater and Drew McIntyre. Heath Slater first, and he didn't even spend less than a minute or so. There was nothing there. But I like to say this before I get to what they did to Drew. I don't know what's going on with Drew, but whatever it is, Drew is really being badly buried. They must really not like Drew McIntyre right now, because usually he's the one that mainly jobs. He jobs more than Heath Slater from what I've seen. Tell me below what you feel. But Drew, who is a main event star, who is obviously could be a main event star. He has the height, he has the size to a point. He has a good character he can do. No one talks of him as the chosen one anymore. Like I said before in one of my old videos of should Drew McIntyre go back to the Sinister Scotsman and wear the kilt? I believe he should. But they're burying him badly. Because when the Heath Slater and Ryback match was over, there was no challenge. Drew comes in, he gets shell-shocked by Ryback. He gets the one true greatest finisher, the world's strongest slam, then another shell shock, then another world's greatest slam. He got his ass kicked here, seriously bad. He looked like a bitch, badly. So I don't know what they're doing with him, but this is building for both of them. But unfortunately, it's not going to be a WrestleMania match. I mean, they will have one, I'm sure of it, but not for the first time. SmackDown, they're going to put it on. What? I don't understand. You got 4 weeks left to build into WWE. I don't understand why they must believe that what's going to happen with The Undertaker and CM Punk, what's going to happen with Cena and Rock is going to be so great that they don't really need that many matches in WrestleMania. So they're putting all the other matches early or on hold until after WrestleMania, which I believe is wrong. WrestleMania should not only have 4 or 5 matches, it should have at least 6 matches or more. I say about 8, maybe 9 matches. Maybe 9. That's kind of pushing it, counting on how exciting some of the other matches are going to be. But Mark Henry and Ryback could be a very great match. And if they build it properly up to WrestleMania, it'll be wonderful. But they're not doing it. They're about to end it now by going to SmackDown. Tell me your thoughts below if you believe that this will still make it alright going into WrestleMania, where they could still have a match or dark match. I believe it shouldn't even be either. It should be a good match where they do it for the first time. Don't let these two touch. Now here comes another match that should be in WrestleMania. A triple threat for the IC Championship between Wade Barrett, between The Miz, and between Chris Jericho. I know a couple of people, and I saw the the British Fist review of Raw, and what Mr. Parkins said was actually quite a good idea. Have Wade go up against Chris Jericho. But really, I would like to see a triple threat. Particularly that, if you see it by a storyline standpoint, makes perfect sense. You got Wade Barrett, who's dealt with Sheamus when his Dead Man Down. Now, I'm going to talk about the movies in a little bit. But Dead Man Down. And then you have The Miz, who is doing the Marine 3. And did the Marine 3. I would have thought it would have been better to put Wade Barrett against The Miz. Because you got two guys who just did their own movies. They did them. And why don't you have a feud between them? Having it now is kind of the right thing they should have done 2 or 3 weeks ago when it came to Bo Dallas. I know The Miz's movie has not debuted yet, but neither did Dead Man Down before that. I mean, Bo Dallas, seriously, could have been The Miz. And this actually would have made sense. Two guys who have a certain ego going up against each other since they both believe, or one believes he's a better actor than the other. That makes sense. And throwing in Chris Jericho, who's just done, I believe, Robot Combat League. That's the name of it. Robot Combat League. You can look at it, look it up yourself. It looks like a bite off of Robot Arena, which is not bad. I enjoyed it. It's a little strange to see really large 8-foot robots that look like Rock'em Sock'em robots. But there's nothing wrong with that. But the point is, you got three guys who basically been either in movies, and Chris has been in movies, who's doing television. Have this conflict for the next month. Why are you giving a triple threat next week on SmackDown? I don't see the reason why they're rushing this. Why don't they stretch it out for the next 4 weeks? Make some type of trouble between Wade and Miz. Make some type of trouble between Miz and Chris. Make some type of trouble between Chris and both of them. This will be an epic match, but we're not going to get it because they're going to do it on SmackDown this Friday. I just don't see the booking here from WWE. They just don't want to see beyond their fucking face that they have 2 good matches they should put on WrestleMania, not after the fact, and rehash it again. They got plenty of people to do work with. Here's another thing that I believe could be a great match at WrestleMania if they do it. It's upsetting to see the structure building up to this Raw and possibly going into WrestleMania. Rogue Scholars and the New Age Outlaws. I don't understand the reason why they broke Rogue Scholars up in the first place. Bring them back for one time. Broke them up again. Bring them back for New Age Outlaws. And then have them have a match with New Age Outlaws, possibly at WrestleMania. Because the match they had on this Raw was cut short because of Brock Lesnar. I'll explain about Brock later. But New Age Outlaws and Rogue Scholars would actually be very good if they structure this right and have them go up against one another and talking now. Because they got cut short in their match, which is perfectly fine. But I probably think in the next couple of Raws or SmackDown, excuse me, gas. But seeing this, they're not going to structure this right. This could be a great match at WrestleMania if they give them both the ability to talk. Because before the match started, Rogue Scholars with Damian and Cody was damn funny. Biting off of the New Age Outlaws. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, wait until you see what's going to happen today in this ring. The five-time tag team champions of the world, Road Dogg and Billy Gunn, the New Age Outlaws. Seeing that WrestleMania would be great, and I hope I did that right. I didn't get a chance to see much of the New Age Outlaws by the time they left. That was back in the early 2000s. I was just beginning to get back into wrestling. I didn't get a chance to see them much, but what I did see, I liked. And the problem here is this. They can spend the next 4 weeks building up to it without any matches. Let both of these teams talk. But do I believe they're going to do that? No. And if we do get a match at WrestleMania, it's going to be bad. Well, I hope it might not be bad, but it just doesn't feel right. Now, let's get into Brock Lesnar. As the New Age Outlaws start having their good match, Brock comes out and lays out both of them, and Paul lines out what they want from the great Triple H. You want the match at WrestleMania? There has to be a stipulation. The stipulation will only be announced after you sign the contract, not before. And if you don't, if you're not up with that, I got 2 words for you: Brock Lesnar. Not bad. I don't do a Paulie voice very well, but he does it well. He always does good stuff well. And as I said, I felt that CM Punk would go off on his own, which he did. Now Brock Lesnar's with him. I did think that CM Punk and Brock Lesnar was going to have a match against one another. There's a good chance it could still happen later in a couple of months or a year, because there's a good chance that CM Punk will turn face. I know not many people are fond of his faces, but this is what could happen. Now, the next thing that happened, you know what, I'm going to get this done now. I'm going to get this done now because it fucking pissed me off. I got fucking mad when I saw this. I was ready to just do a Bruce Lee go, whoa! I was going to go and beat someone's ass up. That's right. Cracking nuts going, whoa! Whoa! Ow. Sorry, can't do that. Bad for my leg. Ow. Alright, Fandango. Gotta say it properly. Fandango versus Tensai. And I wish to say that Tensai is getting more into the gimmick of our Brodus Clay, which is not bad. I mean, Tensai has always come off as a rough and tough character. And seeing this different side of him, even if he's not doing it well, is still a good change up for him. And he's being presented now. He's being shown on television, which is great. It's glad to see it from Tensai. Seeing the new clothes he has, wearing pants with his tights over it, it's cool. What wasn't cool was when Fandango came out. And again, the ring announcer, I keep forgetting the guy's name, I don't know why, Jim, I believe. He didn't do his name right. Tensai didn't do his name right. And he says, no. And the woman that he's with, I think she was on Dancing with the Stars. Very good looking woman. Damn gorgeous woman. But nothing about the woman that I'm about to announce. No. You cannot do my name. You botch my name. And you are an abomination to dance. And the people here, even though they have no culture, no class, can at least see the understanding of the art of dance. There's only one person I don't mind saying my voice, saying my name, is the gorgeous, the delectable, the succulent Naomi. Hi, Naomi. Hi. That got me mad, but it didn't get me fucking enraged. He asked her to say his name. And she looking so beautiful with that beautiful red lipstick and her long straight hair. I like it when her hair is kind of puffed out. It really gives her face more of a beautiful feel for me personally. I like the natural look, sorry. But you know what? If any women are seeing this, keep your hair natural. I'm not saying don't like straight hair, but if you keep yourself more natural than all dolled up, I like you a lot. But when Tensai took the mic and just ripped it from her hand and said, Fandango, he fucking made me mad. Tensai, my boy, A-Train, Lord Albert, I like you, you're cool, but nobody fucking touches my woman. Nobody touches my Naomi like that. Nobody. I don't care if you're 10 feet tall. I will chop your ass down and turn you into fucking firewood. Don't you touch my woman like that. Don't you rip nothing from her hand. Sorry. But you get my point. He does that. Fandango says no. Does that mean we're going to have a Fandango, Tensai, or Clay feud? Because they haven't done Clay yet. It's a possibility they will. Next person will be Clay. And I really believe this is not a bad thing to do. Let him deal with a Tensai. Let him deal with a Clay by words. Then eventually let him job on a Kofi Kingston. I know that doesn't sound fair, but you know what? You got to do something with Fandango. I say by the time of WrestleMania, they'll finally let him have a match. I believe this is going to happen on WrestleMania. He's going to have his first match. They're going to give him a WrestleMania match. I don't know who to be with, but that's what I feel. Now, I didn't really say much about the highlight reel, which I'm going to say now. The highlight reel felt very awkward for the simple fact that there was no furniture and the Jerichotron 6000. It was just a mat. It was like this was done at the spur of the moment. That someone a couple of days before said, oh shit, you know what? We got two guys who just did movies. A guy who's doing a television show that seems to be getting over from the Nielsen ratings. Why don't we throw them into a highlight reel? Oh, I forgot. We don't have Jericho's furniture. What the fuck? Now, next. You know what? I'm going to get to the movies now. I wish to say that WWE Studios and Vincent Kennedy McMahon has now begun to realize something. They want to get these movies over. The problem is, you got wrestlers trying to become actors. And a few times, like with, I believe it was, I can't remember the name, Legacy or whatever, with John Cena. I never really saw it. I've seen a couple of John Cena stuff, but I wasn't really into it. I didn't see the Marine 2. I am going to get a chance to see Marine 3. I'm going to find a way to see that movie. But the thing is that you're having actors that are wrestlers mainly. And even though wrestlers do acting, they're not really great Methodist actors or spur-of-the-moment actors or some that have gone through Shakespeare. They're none of that. So now seeing that they're bringing in people like Halle Berry and several others to do their movies, it's actually quite good. But there's only one problem. You're still doing a restricted showing and you're still making it go almost directly to DVD and Blu-ray. WWE doesn't get it yet. There's no way you're going to get these shows or movies, if they do shows that are really good, and these movies, to get them over if they do restricted showing. If you're going to be doing actual movies with actual actors who are well known, the WWE is going to have to take the chance, take the bite, and actually let it go directly to theater, unrestricted. Doing it like this, they're even losing even more money, because even if the movie makes about maybe 10 or 15 million, how much you actually think you got to pay those actors? Maybe $5 million, $3 million? What profit do you get, WWE? If you're lucky to get $30 million out of a movie and it costs like $10 to $5 million counting on who you're acting with, you're still losing money. In fact, you're hemorrhaging more money? Seriously. I'm hoping they realize after this last movie, The Call, they'll understand if they're going to do this full bore, pulling in more better actors like an Angelina Jolie or anyone else who is still great, Mark Hamill and everything else. Look, you must be willing to take the chance and put it directly into the people's hands. In other words, you must put it into theaters. So I'm done with that. Next, we have, I'm going to say this now. I'm actually quite confused about this. The Cody and Caitlyn angle. What are we getting here? If Rogue Scholars is going to get another chance at the Tag Team Gold, which I don't think they're going to if they're going up against the New Age Outlaws, why are you having him go with Caitlyn? And why are you having, like, there could be a tease of a conflict between Damian and Cody? Because the way this is coming off, it sounds like they may try and turn Cody face. If this is structured well enough, you're going to turn Cody face and keep Damian heel. But at this moment, they're teasing it like maybe it might actually happen. I'm actually quite concerned that this might not be the wisest thing to do. Turning Cody face is a wise thing to do. He could actually get over. They need more faces anyway. But with Rogue Scholars, right now, so close to WrestleMania, I would like to see this after WrestleMania, not before it, because it makes better sense. Because we don't know what's going to happen in the next 4 weeks. The way the WWE likes to rush their storylines, look at Mark Henry and look at Ryback, it's actually a very unwise thing for the WWE to do. Unless they're going to actually drag it out past WrestleMania, which I hope they do. But doing it now is actually quite stupid. And the Bella Twins coming back? Seriously? One of the Bella Twins, I believe, is dating Cena, I believe. I don't know which one. I don't really care. But, I'd rather see someone else come back. Maybe a Beth Phoenix. Seriously? She's much better than Pre-Bellas. Pre-Bella, or Nikki Bella. I'd rather see a Beth Phoenix come back. Why would you bring back the Bella Twins? Anyway, now that I spoke about Cena, The Rock Cena, how can I explain this video with Rock and Cena in it? Look, using Letters from the Sky from I Am Number 4 was actually very nice. Hearing how Rock talked that it was my destiny. I am the one that needs to do this. I had to win it because it's in my blood. That was good. Hearing what Cena talked about redemption is alright for a storyline if you believed it. The problem here is this, ladies and gentlemen. I don't believe Cena went through a road of redemption. There was only one time Cena got so angry and pissed off and blew somewhat of a gasket. And that's when he went up against John Laurinaitis and lost. Once. He didn't act like that with CM Punk. He didn't act like that totally with The Rock. He didn't act like that with Big Show. He didn't act like that CM Punk again. I don't get it. With Dolph Ziggler, he barely showed any anger. Barely showed something there. But it wasn't enough. This is where the problem is for me. It was a lovely vignette for WrestleMania. It was a lovely video for Rock and Cena. The music was beautiful. It sounded great going with each scene for both of them. But the problem here is this, ladies and gentlemen. I don't believe John Cena is on a road of redemption. He's not like a Jeff Hardy went and messed himself up, went to rehab, which everyone knew, and him coming back, and then everyone who was on the roster said, Cena, you really fucked yourself up. But I believe in you. Cena, I hate your ass because you fucked yourself up. I don't trust you. Nothing about that. Even with one time they had Cena with Sheamus, and Sheamus wanted to know if Cena really did what he did with AJ. That wasn't enough. It was like a joke segment. Nothing serious. It's nothing here, and it's upsetting to me that they just structured Cena's decline and then rise so badly. Really, it was that bad. Now, I also wish to say, and moving on, I'm glad to see Brad Maddox seen more. And then Brad Maddox was the one who made the match with, how can I say this about Brad Maddox? The Maddox is showing more of his leadership skills on Raw. When he made the match between Miz and Chris Jericho. He's the one who took the reins, not Vicky. He's the one that called out a ref and got that match. Now, how was the match? Good. And I realized something while the match was going on. Big Show has teamed with both these guys. Miz Show and what we get with Chris Jericho and the Show. Why don't put these two together as a tag team? That's actually a good idea. Two guys who held the Undisputed Championship of tag teams. Who held it. I'm actually quite intrigued if they would actually do this because they got good chemistry together. I wouldn't mind seeing it. So the match was finished, like I said earlier, with the triple threat that Wade I don't think I did say it. Wade interfered with the match and DQ'd it. And that's the reason why for SmackDown triple threat. Like I said, I'd rather see it at WrestleMania. But it was a good match for what it was. Now, let me see here. Antonio Vazado versus ADR. I don't know why Antonio had to lose there, and I don't even know what's going to happen with Antonio by WrestleMania. It's going to probably be a dark match where he's going to be going up against someone because it's no longer The Miz. I'm moving on from there. Now, the Trucker versus Sin Cara. The beginning of it was quite good. Zed still delivers very well. Seeing Sin Cara acting, because we can't see his face, went with the segment. Sin Cara gets his ass kicked, and ADR comes out and brawls with the Trucker Jack Swagger. Good. During the brawl, but not getting anyone a chance to really fully get over, wasn't too bad. I was kind of worried when Jack was put into the cross arm breaker. I was kind of worried about that because he wasn't able to get a chance to put his Patriot Act on ADR. It was ADR who managed to get it, so that kind of makes me a little worried. But it still could be a great match at WrestleMania. And finally, I'm getting to that match. Kane versus Punk. The match was good, and Kane wins because of the bell of The Undertaker. But what was the most important thing here? The Undertaker with Punk, because Punk takes the urn. The urn is the greatest power that exists for The Undertaker. But now there's no more Paul Bearer to come and say, oh yes, The Undertaker will rise again. Unfortunately, there is no more. And the beginning segment when The Undertaker was showing his respect in the ring with the urn and with Punk, do I believe it was in bad taste? This is kind of subjective. You see, they've already shown their respect on both promotions, which is quite nice. Oh, sorry. And I'm very happy about that. So it wasn't like they didn't show the respects beforehand. Does this mean this was the right thing to do? To bring in ratings, yes. They need to do this because they need to hype up The Undertaker because they really haven't done that much with it. They're spending the last 4 weeks building into it instead of maybe 6 weeks of it. It would have been better for The Undertaker to come back 6 weeks earlier. Then the build would even be more better. But they're doing it within the next 4 weeks. So it's like it's not really that good. So they have no choice but to do it. By a moral standpoint, do I believe using Paul Bearer is the right thing to do? Not necessarily the right thing to do. I don't like knowing that they're going to be using Paul Bearer in that respect. It does sound a little disrespectful, but it's still, they're trying to do it in some good taste. It's not like Punk said, I'm glad that Paul Bearer is dead. He did say, I give my condolences. So I can't really say it was done 100% out of disrespect. It wasn't like what happened with Lawler. Now that felt disrespectful. Even if Lawler signed off on it, and maybe he might have been the one to suggest it, I wasn't agreeing with it because it was just a little too much. This one is done a little better in taste, and they really have no choice but to use it because they never gave this enough time for the build. If I know you're gonna say, look, the build is now. Now Paul just died, but you're not getting what I'm saying. If they'd already started the build 6 weeks before, 2 weeks before, and this happened during it, it would make more sense, and they could have still done it in this taste, and it would be more profound. But this is like the first time we're getting Punk and The Undertaker together, and it just, it wasn't enough. They had no choice but to do it. Now I wish to say that I was glad to see, I forgot about Dolph Ziggler and Daniel Bryan. I know this is getting a little long, ladies and gentlemen, but there was so much to talk about. I hope you don't mind it being this long. I'm sorry. But before I say about Dolph Ziggler and Bryan, this was an okay segment at the end. It was an okay segment in the beginning because they had no choice but to do it, and it was still done in some good taste. Now, Kane, he's not dealing with Daniel Bryan at this moment. I don't know if it's going to go back to normal. Might do it. So the Daniel Bryan and Dolph match, the final match of the night, for me, was good to see that Dolph got a win over a former world champion. It would have been better not to get any interference because he really needs to build himself up, and I don't see that. So what do I rate this show? A B-. It wasn't a bad build. There were certain things I really didn't like and didn't make any sense. And I feel the WWE hopefully will do better, but do I believe they will? No. But I'm hoping they'll do better. But there was some good structure to the show. And I do believe that what happened with Paul Bearer was done in good taste. And I did enjoy seeing Paul Bearer throughout the night. So I hope you enjoyed the Zane's View. Subscribe and comment to my channel, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm still working on my debate of the week for the Divas. It's kind of hard to try and figure out what to do with the Divas. So I don't know if this is going to be done next week or the week after. I'm sorry it's taking so long. But I hope when you do see it, you'll enjoy it. So have a good day, ladies and gentlemen.